So in this book, I does people judge in their everyday life. What I think about that in this book, it
That's okay. Regroup. That's totally fine.
In the book, The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, do people judge in their everyday lives? I think yes, because people think many things about people, like how they look, how they dress, and how they speak.
I agree with you because when they judge people, there could be bullies judging or friends judging. Like for bullies, they judge people badly, but their friends can judge them by giving them compliments.
I disagree with Riley because you don't have to judge people unless you don't have to judge people unless you choose to judge people. Michael, what do you think?
Basically, I agree. It's true. You can choose to judge or not to judge.
I agree with that because if you don't want to judge someone, you don't have to.
Going back to what Riley and Kaden said, how does that relate to the book?
Okay, so Bruno, he didn't judge Schmuck because he didn't know what was going on, or that anyone thought that the Jews were bad.
I agree with Grace because Bruno didn't choose to judge the Jews like his father.
I disagree because he didn't judge them like his father, but he did say in the book that Shmuel was skinnier than him and always wore the dirty striped pajamas.
Thomas because Bruno didn't judge small. Didn't know.
I don't really, going back to what Kim said, I don't I agree and disagree, but the reason why I disagree is because Bruno, he wasn't really judging him. He was just he wondered why he was like that.
What do you think, Jaden?
What about you, Grace?
I agree with Jasmine because it's true.
Is there a difference between judging and noticing differences?
Yes.
Yeah.
In judging, you say it in a mean way, and you're just like, God, that person's really doesn't have a sense of fashion. And then I can't remember. And then the other one, you're just realizing that they're different.
I agree because influences might affect others.
What do you think, Jaden?
When I went to Bruno William, because when I was younger, I hadn't moved, and I hadn't made new friends.
And how does that affect the book? What affected Bruno when he lost his friends?
It made him sad.
Let's move on to influences. how does influence affect others? I said it affects others by hurting them or trying to change their ways. Like for example, all over the world right now, bullies are changing lives. Donald Trump is influencing on what other people think about the South Korea and stuff.
Well, I think we should kind of stop moving on to this and we should move on to the book.
And influences. Lieutenant Coulter was a bad influence on Bruno and Gretel because he hurt Pavel and Shmuel for being Jewish, I guess.
Does anybody
I think that what Lieutenant Cole did to Battle was uncalled for, and he had to go somewhere else because of that.
Well, I agree, but I also think that it wasn't the dad was Bruno's father was a bad influence because he would make him stay in that horrible place, and every time Bruno looked out his window, he could see the Jews, and yeah, it was a bad influence.
I agree with Riley because when Bruno asked his dad about the Jews, his dad didn't even say they were people.
Grace or Jaden, what do you think about influence in the book?
I think that Lieutenant Cromwell, he was influencing Gretel in a bad way because they would like flaw and talk, and he would laugh like the Nazis. They would laugh and they all at the Jews like it was nothing.
Well, going back to what Thomas said, I agree with him because when they said that, because when the father didn't tell him about all the Jews and everything, he said they weren't people. He was basically just calling them objects or things that just are nothing.
moving on, like, what is, like, we could talk about, like, maybe, like, what we think is the most important scene in the book.
I think the most important scene is like at the end where Bruno and Shmuel, they try to find Shmuel's dad and then something else happens.
I agree with Grace because, like, Bruno was kind of moving on because he couldn't remember his old friends and he wanted to go see how Shmuel's life was, and they became like best friends and they both wanted to hug each other but they didn't, and they just became like best friends and then like they died.
I agree with you guys. I mean, I agree with Grace and Jasmine, but I also think that the chapter where Bruno looks out the window and sees all the Jews in the concentration camp is also pretty important because he didn't know what it was and he just thought it was just, I don't know, just a random thing just sitting.
What do you think about this?
I think, that it's true
Well, what do you think's true?
that that the concentration camp isn't supposed to be there.
What do you think, Jada?
What do you think the most important thing to you is?
Well, they try at the end, Will's dad is looking for criminal and went to the gate, the bench where the Bruno snuck under, he saw Bruno's clothes that were laying down on the floor.
But going back to what Grace said, I disagree with her about the most important scene because I don't think it's at the ending point where he dies. I think the most important part is where kind of in the middle scene where they both kind of meet back and forth and they get in trouble a lot, and yeah.
Let's move on to human rights in the book. Why didn't Jews have human rights?
All right. I hate that we have to cut into the middle of a discussion that's continuing to go further now. Thank you for moving us on. We had a new question. What were some of the things, outside circle, what were some of the things that the inside circle did well? Haley?
They did well in discussing.
In what way?
They kept going, each of them would mostly talk.
Okay, everyone spoke. You're right. I'm good. Riley?
They did a good job including people.
Including people.
And when there was a big moment, they tried to get somebody else to talk and just move on, not just sit there.
Okay, good. JC?
I like how all of them said that.
Okay, and that's good transitioning, right? Because the conversation, which is necessary, because sometimes we can kind of flounder and a conversation just kind of dies out because no one has any direction. That was a good way that a number of times, we directed the conversation to be more productive. Good.
She stayed on top of things and made sure they got to every single next one.
Okay, yeah. Anything else, Haley? Okay, did we direct it back to topic using evidence? Yeah, directing it back to how it affected the book, how the book affected the concepts that we were talking about, really positive. What are some things that the outside circle will want to make sure they keep in mind to make their discussion even stronger? Haley?
What we think, we kind of, when we stated two main things, we kept talking about the two main judging and influence. What we could try to do is keep going and move on to.
Okay, and what's a really good way to do that? We've had a few ways here that said, why don't we move on? What's another way that we could do that? Jessica?
You can sum the whole topic up, and then you can move on.
Great. Like it sounds like we all pretty much agree that blah, blah, blah. So then that transitions us to a new one. Good. What else do we need to keep in mind for the second round?
To not talk. Maybe to try to talk more often.
Okay. More often, just keep the conversation going. Okay.
Maybe to get in this group, it was a little quiet, and we had to add added people more into it, and maybe the outside group maybe just talk and don't be shy.
Okay, don't be shy. Push yourself. That's right. Jamie?
We got everyone got to talk, and then they worked it.
So we want to make sure everyone in the next group does. Yes. Last thing.
To not just chitter chatter about outside of the book, more inside.
So stick to the topic at hand, the concepts that we were questioning using our evidence from the books. Yes. Okay. Quickly and quietly switch places.
And the blue chair.
And I'm just gonna face this way.
JC, I'm gonna have you move next to, on the other side of Mackenzie so we can see. That chair gets a little. All right, are we ready?
Yes.
You may begin.
So I'll start. For judging, the question was like, do people judge in their everyday lives? To me, I would say yes, because I mean, I judge every day, even if it's something mean. I try not to like judge people, but it always ends up coming out. And my mom always said, like, every day you lie once, and you at least lie, even judge once. And just like the book, in the book Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Hitler and the soldiers always judged the Jews like 24/7. They always judged them every day, and they never stopped.
I agree with Haley because when she said about her judging thing, how she, like, you can't, like, you always try to not say the thing you want to say, but then you say it.
I also agree because you can't judge people from how they are.
Yeah, like Haley said, sometimes we judge people and we don't even realize we're judging them, even if it's like a small thing on like what close to their career.
I agree with all four of them because in the Boy in the Striped Pajamas, Bruno judged Shmuel like by how small he was and stuff, and Shmuel didn't really judge Bruno, but the Germans thought that Shmuel and all the other Jews were a waste of life and should just be gone forever.
Jason, what do you think?
I agree with you guys because, like, Bruno, when he, like, how Mom said, when he said that Shmuel was, like, small, but he didn't know that, like, he was actually, like, hurting Shmuel. He wasn't what you say?
I agree with Nolan because Hitler, in his army, was mean and like was bullying. You could say to the Jews, and still today, there is bullying to other kids.
Connor, do you have anything to add?
I agree with Nolan because Hitler killed Jews for no reason. Since now we're done with judging, we should probably go to influence. And it says, how does influence affect others? It can affect people a lot because they can change people. If like a parent was being mean or something, and the child sees it, I mean, the child can change and do that too. And Bruno changed because he used to be a good boy that listened to his parents, but then when he met Shmuel, then he wanted to go on the fence, and his dad even told him not even to go over there, and he did, so he kind of changed.
Yeah, I agree with Haley because father, he kind of has a bad influence on his kids because he brought them to watch. They can see the concentration camp and they can see people put to work. They can kind of see they're not playing. They're all wearing the same thing. And they don't have any food or water. They look skinny and everything.
I agree because it's easier to influence kids more than adults.
Like Haley was saying, how like people can influence others. Sometimes you can influence them for the good, but you can also sometimes influence people for the bad. Like Maria said that father had helped her and brought her in and gave her a job, and he used to be like really nice like that, but then when he really got like that job, he started treating people different and acting like the Jews weren't people, and he wasn't the same person that Maria thought he used to be.
I agree with Alyssa because some influences can be good and bad, and a lot of influence is bad, but there's still some good. Like in the war, like it was mostly bad, and like how Hitler influenced kids to join the Hitler Youth.
I agree with that because, like, when Bruno got influenced from his grandma from when she, like, was mean to her father because of his uniform. Then like Bruno kind of thought that the pajamas were like a costume.
I think influences can also be good or bad because a good influence, if someone's bad, it could be good. So it could change him for good. But
What do you think? I agree with Mackenzie because influence can be good and bad, and the Nazis had a bad influence on kids.
Since we're done with that now, we can go to human rights, and it said, why do the Jews not have rights? And I think it's because really the Hitler and his soldiers and stuff, they didn't really give them a chance to do what they wanted and say what they wanted, and they didn't give them a chance to have their rights. They kind of made them act like they're their slaves and they're not people. They're just like animals or something. And because like in the book, Shmuel didn't get anything he wanted. He didn't get food. He really didn't get anything. But the only thing he got was like food from Bruno, and it kind of the Jews don't really have any more rights anymore than they used to.
I agree with Haley on like her first part because Hitler hated the Jews because he thought they were responsible for the loss of World War I for Germany and stuff. So he gave the Jews no human rights and killed 6 million of them.
Because so Bruno didn't really know like what the Jews were. He just like found out like what they were from Bruno, and like the Jews didn't really get what Bruno got and like how they were, and like Hitler didn't like really think of it as like something bad.
I agree with Haley's first part because the soldiers and Hitler were like, they really didn't like the Jews, and that's what they kind of said in the Plain and Striped Animals. They said the Germans they didn't really take care of the Jews. They didn't clean the Jews. They took everything away that belonged to them, and they took their homes and they made them work for no reason, but they still made them work and do all that hard work and they shouldn't have done.
I agree with Nolan because it wasn't fair for them just to do that because they are humans too. I agree with Riley because the Jews couldn't do anything they wanted back then like the Germans could, and most Jews were sent to concentration camps and killed, so they still had no human rights during the war.
Well, I'm kind of questioning about is I didn't understand, even though there's like little kids that were Jews, they still killed them, and that would be terrifying. And honestly, I mean, I wouldn't want them to kill them anyways, but like I'd rather them be older so they wouldn't have to go through all that scary. Like they'd still be scared, but like they wouldn't have to go through even more scariness and they wouldn't understand. But still, I would not want them to kill them. It's not fair.
I agree with Haley because like when the Jews didn't really do anything to like Hitler and the Germans and soldiers for them to do that to the Jews.
So how can we make sure that we don't repeat that historical mistake?
I think we wouldn't repeat it because, I mean, it's kind of like the bad things that have gone in history. I think, of course, we wouldn't do them and we shouldn't. But it's really hard for some people because some people tell them things over and over and it gets in their mind. So they repeat them anyways if it's bad.
I agree with Haley, and like you shouldn't repeat history or like try not to, because I always hear don't repeat history, but in this case that's like really true because we don't want another Holocaust or another World War, because it would be really bad if it involves like genocide and like taking away human rights and killing a population of people.
Okay, I hate to draw to a close when I know we're not quite done with this conversation, but the bell is going to ring. Stay right where you are when the bell rings. But what I want you to do, a couple things. What did the inside circle do that was really good?
Got to all 4 topics.
Got to all 4 topics. Good, Ranger.
Everybody talk.
Everyone spoke.
That's not healing really other people and
Yep, that's good. All right, you guys did a great job. Wait a minute, just a minute. I continue to see you grow. What I want you to do, need you to do, is on the rubric, circle the ones that you say, yep, I did those. Make sure your name is on it, and then put it on my desk. Thanks, guys.